Comcast Cablevision Channel 43 presents high school football. Today, the Gloucester Lions host the Glassboro Bulldogs. Hello again, everyone. Rob Christ along with my partner, Shawn Leary. A beautiful autumn morning here at Gloucester City High School. A game with big-time implications. Gloucester has not yielded a touchdown in 24 straight quarters, Shawn. They would like to win this game and clinch the Classic Division title. For the other side of the coin, Glassboro needs this win in order to make the playoffs.
Yeah, this is a huge game for Glassboro. They've been to the playoffs for 7 consecutive years now, and it's in jeopardy, especially like you're saying. The Lions' defense this year has been outstanding. A team that does not bend, does not break, does not give up any points. Glassboro needs this win to get into the playoffs. Obviously, with the undefeated record from Gloucester, they would get a lot of points today and certainly clinch a playoff berth.
Glassboro really needs to go out and probably score first, and they're going to look to Isaiah Graves.
Yeah, Isaiah Graves is a real good running back who likes to slash, will find some holes and then can explode. He's a guy that doesn't seem like he's running too fast, but he can turn it into another gear. He has 10 touchdowns this season. Glassboro does not have the big players like Sakeen Wright and Terrence Holmes in past years. This is their guy. They have to hand him the football, and he has to run with it successfully today.
Well, he'll be facing that tough Gloucester defense. When you look at Ian James on the defensive side of the ball, he is so talented. He can do so many things. A lot of people overlook his defensive skills because he also has 8 receiving touchdowns.
You're right, Rob. He's a guy who's played 3 years defensively on this team. He can go up and catch the football. He comes and lays big hits on opposing offenses. But offensively, he has 8 touchdown receptions this year, has great hands, runs great routes. He's an all-around good receiver and a good player for this Gloucester team.
Well, Gloucester has revenge on their mind. They lost to this Glassboro team 40-20 in their last matchup of the season last year. And we'll have it for you right after this. Welcome back to Gloucester High School. Rob Christ along with Shawn Leary. And we're getting ready for kickoff here. A big game, as we mentioned. Gloucester looking to finish strong. A record of 7-0, hoping to go 8-0 and capture the division title.
And like you were saying, Rob, Glassboro needs to get off to a quick start with a defense that Gloucester's had. And this team is fired up.
Kicking off here for Gloucester, Tom Ferry, 270-pound kicker. And we're underway here at Gloucester. Back to take it, fumbling the ball is Matthew Wilkie, and he is stopped at about his 24-yard line.
So I think that was Isaiah Graves that came up with the ball for Glassboro, and he doesn't get much there. They'll have starting position now at about the 14-yard line.
So first down and 10 here from the 24. Glassboro is going to have a tough duty in front of them, and that is to try to break through this Gloucester defense. First and 10 at the 24. Glassboro, a quick out. And Coach Herb Nelio said we're going to see a lot more of that today. A little bit of throwing, a little bit of passing, a little bit of running. And Sean Baxter on the reception here. Let's take a look at our starting lineups. The quarterback, Fowler. In the backfield, it's Mosley and Graves. We talked about Graves at the top. Baxter, Buchanan, Johnson. And on the line, Downing, Chapman, Smith, Haggerty, and Weiss with a full complement of big guys that they'll be facing off against for that Gloucester Lions team. Here's the handoff to Graves. Graves with that good speed, and he's chopped down after a short gain. That'll bring up a key third down here for Glassboro.
One interesting note for Glassboro is both the Robinsons are sitting out. Marquis and Maurice Robinson, 2 of their starters, for disciplinary reasons. We may not see them until the second quarter.
Tough situation for Glassboro, a must-win game for them. Not so much the case for Gloucester. Third down here. Graves the lone setback. Across the middle, has a man, it's Baxter. Baxter into that Gloucester secondary. Nice pass, and Sean Baxter, the senior, with the reception.
Yeah, it's a nice pass right over the middle. Marcus Fowler getting the ball right on the numbers, and that picks up a first down.
Let's take a look at this Gloucester defense. Keefe and Hartzell on the ends, two of the best. Zierfoss and Ferriguez in the middle. Davidson, Hahn, King, Widman, Wilkie, Myers, and King round out that tough Lions D. First down and 10. It's a handoff to Graves, and Graves is met immediately at the line of scrimmage. Nothing doing there, as a big stop made by Gloucester Lions. Robert Keefe, who we talked about being one of the top men on this line.
Yeah, that interior of the line is really strong. They get off the ball well. They take up a lot of space, and it's hard to run between the tackles.
Second down, 10. Glassboro, high formation. Handoff, it's Graves. Graves into the secondary, cutting through, still on his feet. Hard to bring down, and he will be finally brought down, but not before picking up 11. And a Glassboro first down.
Yeah, it's just a tough run by the senior running back. Comes in only 5'7", 145. As you can see, he's a tough runner. Sometimes you look at a guy and he doesn't have a huge stature, not big in size, but they seem to run away from tackles and slip through, and that's what Isaiah Graves does well.
First down and 10. Good toss, it's Graves. Graves brought down in the secondary. Big stop made by Joe Hartzell. And as I mentioned before, Keefe and Hartzell, the two stalwarts of this defensive line, and each of them making big plays during this drive.
And they just don't let you get to the outside. Right, that's a big loss. And this is where Gloucester defense becomes so difficult. They put you in a second long situation. It's hard to run, it's hard to throw against them as is, to pick up the 10 yards necessary for a first down. You put yourself in this situation, a lot of times during the game, you're not going to get many points.
Second down and 15. Fowler back to pass, looking up top, finding Buchanan, but Buchanan, had he come down with it, would have been out of bounds.
Glassboro said they're going to come out and try to mix it up a little bit, use the pass, try to open things up for the running game, and so far, true to form, Graves going up top, trying to stretch the defense out a little bit.
Well, that big stop by Hartzell really stalling this drive. You have a long third down here, and again, Fowler will likely have to go to the air.
And that's the play, Rob, where they love to use for the last 3 or 4 years with Terrence Holmes, talented freshman that is now at the University of Florida.
Wide out, split right. Fowler across the middle, has a man, throws it up, it's picked off. Picked off by Andrew Myers. Myers down the sideline, cut down at the 45-yard line. And that is what you get from this Gloucester defense. Big plays from the line that's set up, big plays from the secondary.
And it looked like the ball just sailed on Fowler a little bit. He drops back, he's trying to look over the middle again. Gets good protection from his line. Sets and throws, kind of throwing his back foot a little bit, and it sails on him. And a nice catch, giving Gloucester the football now into Glassboro territory.
Tried to find Brandon Simmons, instead found the secondary of the Lions. First down and 10, Gloucester, big carry, big hole. And Gloucester's Matt Garcia will pick up a big chunk. Well, we mentioned that this Gloucester line will definitely be a factor. Here you see the offensive set for Gloucester: O'Donnell, Odino, and Garcia. Zierfoss, your tight end, Jones and James we talked about at the top. Hartzell, Dixon, Brophy, Ferry, and Shin. This is a very good Gloucester offensive line.
Yeah, those 5 names you just mentioned right there has really been the cog for this Gloucester Lions team.
And a quick handoff to Vince Lindino. And about a gain of 1, so a third down here.
It's important for Glassboro to stop Gloucester right here. Hold after the interception. You don't want to give Gloucester momentum early in this game.
I got to believe this is 4-down territory as well, so they're going to need to make a couple big stops. Third down. Keith O'Donnell. Handoff and a huge hole for Vince Lindino. And he looks to have the first down. That's what we talked about, Sean. This big Gloucester line is going to create a lot of problems for Glassboro today.
Yeah, and that time they just run behind big Tom Ferry, number 75, the offensive tackle, 6'2", 270 pounds. The junior opens up a nice hole, gives Gloucester a first down.
First down and 10, I formation. Quick handoff inside Garcia. Garcia well into the secondary. And another large pickup here for Gloucester. Sean, nothing special here. Just run it right at you.
Now they'll run it right between the tackles, use those big power one-on-one blocking linemen that they have. They're using the fullback early on here, Matt Garcia, with a couple of nice runs to give them second short situations on this drive.
When you're getting first down carries of 6 yards, it's going to be a long day for you defensively. Again, quick hitter and pick up about 2 or 3. That'll bring up another short third down here. And again, when you're down the side of the field, Sean, you're talking 4 down territory. Typically with this line, you're going to be able to get 2.5 yards a pop.
Well, yeah, that's what you expect. And, you know, Glassboro's just going to have to come down, dig in, get the lineman, jump off the ball. And they're not going to be able to go power one-on-one with this big Gloucester line. They're going to have to do some shifting and some moving.
Third down. Again, the handoff inside, tripped up in the backfield, and that's a big play made by Glassboro's George Johnson, just a freshman.
Yeah, they really like this kid. He's got a big frame, 6'3", 195. They really like him. He doesn't look like a freshman out there. Big number 9. Typically, you see number 9, you're thinking pass receptions and highlight touchdowns with Terrence Holmes, but this freshman, George Johnson, they think is worthy to wear that number and put up a nice career here at Glassboro.
It's kind of interesting. You see the freshman out there, 6'3", and then you see Haggerty, who's a senior at 5'3". Fourth down here, big play, and Glassboro may have jumped offside. If they did not, then that's a big stop in the backfield. Big tackle made, and Landino is stopped for the loss. Glassboro stayed on sides, and a big play by this Glassboro defense.
Big play by the big guy, 6 foot, 315 pounds, Isaac Chapman, getting inside and get a big defensive stop. And I'll tell you what, that really turns the tide now for Glassboro, because you did not want, if you're Herb Neely, you did not want Gloucester punching it in their first possession.
Chapman, first team all-conference last year. He will certainly be first team once again this year. And no gain on the play by Glassboro. Well, this Gloucester defense, oh so stingy, but don't overlook Glassboro's defense. They're only yielding 11 points a game, but obviously they're going to need to score some points today.
11 points a game compared to 7 points all year. And there's only one team they're not even remotely close to Camden Catholic. They're allowing just under 40 points a game. I think at 36, 39. So it's
not
ridiculous.
40 points a game.
No, 40 points for the season.
Right.
For the season. So it's just ridiculous what this Gloucester Lions defense has done this year.
24 straight quarters without allowing a point. Fowler has a man, and he hits him. That is big George Johnson down the sideline. Well, Sean, you talked about how much they like this freshman. 6'3", a big target, and a great athlete.
Well, I'll tell you what, not only do they like him, I really like him. This guy's got a huge frame, nice hands. If they can get this guy doing this for the next 4 years, he's going to put up a great career. It's a simple rollout. You have a man going deep. He just finds George Johnson, the big tight end, over the middle of the field, puts it right where it needs to be, and once you get that big 6'3" frame running, he's going to pick up big yards with those long strides of his.
I'll tell you what else, Fowler did a nice job rolling against the grain and then really set himself up to make that throw. Again, we see this just like the last drive, Sean. It looks like Glassboro's on some type of a roll, and then you get a big stop by that Gloucester D, and you're in a big hole again.
Yeah, and you know what? I wish we could go back to that pass, because it's really interesting what you said, the way he set himself up for that pass as opposed to the interception. The interception, he's going back off his back foot, and that's not the way you want to throw it. You want to make sure you set and throw the pass. That's exactly what he did on that rollout.
Fowler has a lone setback. That is Graves. Fowler back to pass, has time, throws across the middle, finds his man into the secondary, and finally cut down is Brandon Simmons. I'll tell you what, Sean, Isaiah Graves is the key to this Glassboro offense, but do not overlook the quarterback. Marcus Fowler's done a great job.
Yeah, and he's doing the right thing. You see right here, gets back, sets himself, looking at his receiver. See, plants on that back foot and rifles the ball out. He's putting the ball right over the middle of the field. And the Glassboro receivers are doing a nice job getting separation.
So Glassboro has illustrated they can move the ball on this vaunted Gloucester defense, but they've had a tough time doing it on the ground as Isaiah Graves continuing to go backwards. A loss of about 2, second down and 12.
Yeah, and it's very hard, as we've seen already, to run on this Gloucester Lions team. But they've done a nice job in that passing game. What they're expecting to do is try to pass the ball and open things up a little bit in the middle of the field. That'll allow Graves to find a little crease and guard into the end zone the way he's done 10 times this year.
They've had a great battle already. 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in this first quarter, scoreless. Fowler back to pass. Good protection, has a man, throws it up for Buchanan. Buchanan tipped up and knocked down as Buchanan maybe should have come up a step or two, as he obviously had the size. It was actually Simmons, or was it? No, it was Buchanan, excuse me. And Buchanan at 6'1" had the size over 5'9" Jonathan King.
Hey, Jonathan King did a nice job of turning around and making sure that the receiver couldn't come down with the football. You have to make sure you turn around and look at the right time. You don't want to get beat on a play, but you have to find out where that football is. He turns around and makes a nice play on the ball.
All spotted at the 33. Long third down here. Fowler back to pass, has a man wide open, and coming down with it, a nice reception. No, ruled incomplete as a big hit is laid out on Sean Baxter. Fowler had that ball float a little bit on him.
Well, I said in the beginning in our opening that Ian James is a big hitter. He's the man who just dislodged that football off of Sean Baxter. Sean Baxter's going to be open here. He could have came down in bounds. And you see he goes up for the football, and Ian James just tees him up and whacks him out of bounds, dislodging the football and forcing now a fourth down. That would have been good for a first down.
That's a huge play by James. He is not disappointed already this game. 2:39 left. Fowler getting a big rush, throws it up, and it is picked off. Picked off, and still on his feet. Now at midfield is Justin Widman with the big interception. And again, this drive plays out much like the last one, Sean.
Again, throwing off his back foot. He did it again this time with the pressure on him. You throw up your back foot, you're not going to be able to get the velocity on the football. Again, the second interception, and it's just a technique. Fowler drops back, gets himself in a situation where he makes a bad play. Gloucester again with good field position at the 49 of Glassboro.
First down and 10 for Gloucester. High formation. Quick drop, back to pass, has a man, and hits him. It's James. James cut down after a gain of about 7.
Yeah, nice play by Graves on the outside to make sure Ian James doesn't get any extra yardage after the catch, but that's just a simple 6 or 7 yard play. You just turn around, fire the ball out there, and it's just as good as one of those Matt Garcia runs that they had in the first possession. You pick up 6 or 7 yards, in this case another 6 yards, and you really help yourself in the second down situation. You can do so many more things, Rob. Now you can throw a screen, you can throw a pass, you can run. It puts the defense back on their heels.
Second down. Draw play. Londino into the secondary, still on his feet. Cuts it around the end. Now we'll try to cut it back inside, and finally brought down at the 20-yard line. Vince Londino, the 5'9" senior, with a big pickup. Penalty flag on the field, though, and this is going to come back. Well, obviously, Glassboro will take this penalty, and it's from the spot of the foul. So it still may be enough for a first down, and it is.
Yeah, they'll pick up the first down. It was down towards the end of the play. There you see the ability, Rob. 2nd and 4. There's a lot more things you can do, and that defense sits back a little bit, respecting the pass now. You run up the middle with Londino, a huge hole. He's really been injured for most of the season with a rib and hamstring injury. Last week he had his best game of the year, and they think he's ready to have a big game here and get ready for the playoff.
Inside handoff. Again, they'll go to Matt Garcia. We're approaching the 1 minute mark, about 1:10 left. But, you know, we talked about this Gloucester defense, and you can see already in the first couple drives, I mean, it's not one-dimensional. You have that great defensive line, gives you that great push, and some great coverage from the secondary. Shutting things down. Second down for the Lions. Handoff Londino. Londino fumbles, picked up by the freshman for Glassboro, George Johnson, and Glassboro also making big plays on defense.
Not sure who made the hit there, but it looks like they jarred the ball loose on the tackle. You see Londino straight up through the middle, and a nice hit, just putting your helmet on the football. George Johnson able to come up with a play. The recovery, and trying to look at a number, not sure exactly who that was on the football, but nonetheless, Glassboro takes over now, and again dodges another bullet.
Pitch out to Graves. Graves will utilize that speed, tries to cut her out outside. He does. Still on his feet and brought down inbounds close to a first down. There you see some of the athleticism and elusiveness of Isaiah Graves.
Right, elusive is the right word there, because, you know, some other guys will get tripped up on that play, but he seems to keep his balance extremely well, even though he's tripped up a little bit, and then fires to the outside. He has that great burst of speed that allows him to get to the cornerback, and that's why he has the big plays.
Well, about 10 seconds remaining in this first quarter. I'm not sure if Glassboro is even going to try to get this play off, and it looks like they will opt not to. So we're done with 1 quarter of play here, and not much of a surprise as it's been a true defensive battle. We head to break scoreless. Welcome back to Gloucester City High School. Scoreless here in the second quarter as we start things. Second down and about 1 for the Bulldogs. Handoff, big hole again, and this time instead of Graves, Glassboro goes to big Marquis Robinson, 6-foot senior.
Marquis Robinson's had a good year for this team. He gives them a nice wrinkle. Came from Woodstown, a transfer from Woodstown High School. He's a big back, and again, Maurice Robinson and Marquis Robinson out for disciplinary reasons. And you know what, that's a gutsy call. We were talking to Herb Neal before a game. In a game where you need the playoffs, in his first year, and he comes out and sits 2 guys, 2 big players in a huge game for him. He says, you know, I'm trying to build a program here.
Quick handoff, a game of about 2 or 3. You know, again, I think people lose sight of the fact that these are high school kids, and football is secondary to a lot of other things. And I think a lot of coaches forget that as well, but Herb Nealio illustrating that he gets it.
And exactly right. You know, you were a coach at one time, you made a good point. You're going to be here longer than the kids are. So, you know, you want to establish respect for your team, because if you don't have their respect, they're going to run wild, and you'll never build a program.
That's exactly right. And discipline is so important on a football. Handoff Graves. Graves brought down after a pickup of about 4. So, again, a critical third down here for Marcus Fowler and the Glassboro Bulldogs. Well, again, this Gloucester team has been very successful throughout the year, 7-0 record. And the Gloucester Lions have not been scored upon first all season. So that's why it's important for Glassboro to do that, really put Gloucester back on their heels. Fowler back to pass across the middle. Quick hitch and finds a man. And that'll be enough for a first down as Sean Baxter hits a little slant across the middle, kind of a soft slant, and picks up a big gain. And now we've seen this each time, Sean. They get into Glassboro territory, and then they go to Graves, and Graves is dropped for a 5-yard loss. And the drive stalls. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah, that's a nice call there. Just a little screen. Set up your big blockers out in front on a third down. Nice call by Glassboro coaching staff.
Fowler, I formation, Robinson and Graves, handoff Graves. Graves spins off his man and into the secondary. And there again, Isaiah Graves, it looked like we would have seen the third time a first down play being dropped for a 5-yard loss, but this time Graves would have none of it. Spins off the tackle and picks up A nice gain for the Bulldogs.
Spins off a tackle and then gets a little block by Sean Baxter to spring him to the outside for about a 6-yard gain. But you're right, they're getting good penetration. Gloucester is on the ends, and it's forcing Glassboro to stay inside the tackles. And that's where you don't want to run against this Gloucester team. They got the big guys in the interior of that defensive line.
Hand off Robinson. Robinson misses it. Goes through 2 tackles now, 3, 4, still on his feet. Brought down at about the 21-yard line. And this Glassboro offense, you can see, you mentioned before, Herb Nealio making a big decision to keep Robinson out. This Glassboro team, you can sense, is different now that Robinson's in there because he gives them an added dimension, and he's a big blocker for Graves as well.
Yeah, he's a big guy as opposed to Mosley. Nothing against Kevin Mosley, but he's 6'1", 225 and doesn't have the experience that Marquis Robinson has. Marquis Robinson was a big player for Woodstown, transfers here to Glassboro. Has put a nice 1-2 combination with Graves.
Robinson fumbles the football. Just squirts out of his hands, and Gloucester has it. Well, we've seen a little bit of everything today, Shawn, already defensively. There you had what looked like a crisp handoff, and it just literally squirted out of the hands of Robinson.
Yeah, you know, they were putting together a nice drive, and Marquis Robinson just pops the ball right out of his hands. Gloucester, with their backs to the goal line, comes up with another key play. Now the 3rd turnover for Glassboro, 2 interceptions and now a fumble.
Well, you know, Herb Nealio said we need to play mistake-free football. It's been far from that. He has to feel good, though, that it's still a tie score. Hand off inside, and I tell you what, big Isaac Chapman, 315 pounds, absolutely ate him up.
Ate him up. See, when he eats dinner, he don't eat like, I ate some chicken last night. He eats chickens.
That's right. This time he had running back.
He eats small livestock.
That's one of his favorites, running back.
Yeah.
2nd down after a loss of 1. O'Donnell back to pass. Quick drop is hit immediately and unable to hit his big tight end, Chad Zierfoss, 210-pound senior. Well, here you see that Glassboro defense. Johnson, Baxter, Zielinski, and Chapman, the big guy. Downs on the end. Haggerty, Rhodes, Graves, Fowler, and Buchanan. Pretty good secondary there as well.
And now both Robinsons come in on defense. Spelling Rhodes, the freshman, came in, did a nice job. Now Marquis Robinson goes in at linebacker. Maurice play the safety spot for Fowler.
O'Donnell back to pass out of the pocket, will throw it across the middle, throws it up for grabs, tipped up, and it's caught. Fine play made by Ken Jones. I tell you what, that was almost thrown up for grabs, and Jones, the 6'1" senior, illustrates his athleticism and picks up a huge 1st down for the Gloucester Lions.
Yeah, another play where it's just basically floated up, thrown into the wind a little bit, and Jones just went up and got it. It's just a situation where it's a jump on, every man for himself.
1st down and 10 now. Gloucester at their own 42-yard line. Handoff and pickup of about 5 yards there for for Andrew Brandt. And here you go, Shawn.
Yeah, it's just O'Donnell throwing the ball up. Jones goes up and tries to get it along with Robinson. And a nice catch. It looked like he was even juggled a little bit. So a leaping reception gives Gloucester ball at midfield.
Jones just got much better position than Buchanan did. Simple as that. 2nd down here for Gloucester. High formation, O'Donnell, handoff again. Big hit laid out on Andrew Brandt.
That's Marquis Robinson as Brandt went airborne, and Marquis Robinson met him halfway. It's going to bring up a 3rd and short now.
Take a look at this hit shot.
Yeah, see, he just goes up airborne. Once you get up, you don't have control of your body, so the defender has the advantage to really give you a good whack. And Marquis Robinson probably taking out a little bit of his frustrations of being benched in the 1st quarter for disciplinary action. Got to get out on Brandt.
Got 8 men in the box here, and look at that penetration by Marquis Robinson. Robinson really got off on the ball, just slid through that offensive line of Gloucester. That's a huge stop, and we're going to see our first punt of the afternoon.
You don't even know how he's lined up there. It looks like he's in the backfield before the ball's even snapped. Beautiful play. And you know what? Keith O'Donnell does a nice job of doing the right thing, holding on to the football so he doesn't give it up, taking the loss and take your chances now, 4th and still short. They're gonna punt it, give the ball back to Glassboro. Glassboro has to watch out for a fake now.
James will punt. It'll be Graves back to receive. Punt to Graves. Graves will take it, watch it bounce at his own 21-yard line. That's not a good play by Isaiah Graves.
Nah, not at all. I mean, he could have certainly caught that football and didn't elect to do so.
With 5:46 remaining in this first half, Glassboro and Gloucester are scoreless. Welcome back to Gloucester High School. 1st down and 10 for the Bulldogs. Hand off Graves. Graves will try to cut it outside. He'll not be able to get there as Justin Whitman, who's already had a big interception, able to cut him down. And again, a big loss on 1st down for Glassboro. Isaiah Graves seemingly has lost as many yards as he's gained today. Loss of about 8 yards there.
Yeah, another huge loss, trying to get to the outside. Justin Whitman's a good story, Rob. He's a guy who suffered a tremendous back injury last year, and he was told he would never play football again. Coming back into a big game, he's got to be happy to make these type of plays that he's done for Gloucester this game and all year.
This is dangerous territory. Handoff inside. Robinson well into the secondary. A huge hole for Marquis Robinson, and he'll pick up a huge chunk. And that's just what the doctor ordered for the Bulldogs, is they'll have a doable 3rd down, if you will.
And Rob, you're right. Now, not even if they don't pick up the 1st down here, it just gets them out of their own goal line. But that 1-2 combination, as you can see with Marquis Robinson and Isaiah Graves, can be very effective for this Glassboro team.
4 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in this first half. Critical 3rd down, we'll call it 7. Back to pass. Fowler with time, has a man across the middle, he hits him, and it's Graves. Not much on that ball, but right on target, and Graves picks up a big 1st down here for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and you know what he's doing really well? If he doesn't pass on, now right there, again, he sets and throws and puts the ball right on the numbers. Leads his man where only the receiver can get the football, and you see Isaac Graves coming up with a catch. And all you got to do is just concentrate the ball. Rob, it's right there. It is right there. His passes are very crisp and right on the money.
Marquis Robinson fumbles again. Marquis Robinson with his 2nd fumble, and this time it's recovered by Glassboro. Marquis Robinson is having a tough time. Got himself into a little bit of trouble before the game. Now he's creating all kinds of problems for this Glassboro offense.
And he just walks off the field in disgust with his helmet off. And it's something, you know what? You got to go to your running back. Now, one of them coaches have to go over to him and say, look, you fumbled the football a couple times. Don't worry about it. You can do it. Don't get that out of your mind. You don't want somebody like him, the stature of that player, losing his head right now.
That's exactly right. Marquis Robinson's a heck of a football player, and he'll be back. Isaiah Graves still on his feet and brought down after a gain of about 2. They'll bring up 3rd down and about 6.
And if the problem is he's not really getting hit. That ball's not being jarred loose. That's just him just losing it while he's running with the football. And it might be just an over-aggressiveness. You're hyped up, you got the football in your hands, you're trying to think about what you're going to do, and all of a sudden you lose focus of where that ball is.
3 minutes left, and now we'll have a timeout called on the field. It looks like timeout called by Glassboro's Herb Nealio. So 3 minutes and 4 seconds left, and one of the things that's key here is that Glassboro, even if they don't make this 3rd down shot, they were backed up 2nd down and about 16 to 18 yards on their own 7-yard line or so. They've already gotten this football out, and should they be forced to punt here, Gloucester will have a tough time marching it down with just under 3 minutes left.
That's a great point, Rob. With the time left on the clock and the situation that they had backed up against their goal line, if you stop there in 4 downs, you're going to give Gloucester the ball in good field position with enough time to try and score. At least here, if you don't pick up this 1st down, you pin Gloucester back, and they have to really move the ball pretty quickly. They won't have the time to have a sustained drive. And this isn't, I know I know you see Leon Harris. I know this Gloucester team has had a good year passing, but they're not a passing team. You see that record, 121, 39-2. He's an outstanding coach, but they aren't a passing team. They really aren't known as a passing team. This is a running team. They can pass it when they need to.
Leon Harris has won 6 Classic Division titles, looking for number 7 this year. Pass across the middle, thrown behind the receiver, Baxter. And Glassboro will be forced to punt here with exactly 3 minutes left in this first half.
Now, Glassboro's got to be really happy. You know, they first down 7-3 right now. And this is a team they've been going up to Gloucester that can really put some big numbers up on the board offensively. And they've moved the ball on Gloucester.
They've really their own worst enemy.
Yeah, they've shot themselves in the foot with the three turnovers. And as you said, they'd love to go into the locker room right now, I think, Rob. 0-0, you give yourself the team, you give your team a chance to win and get into the playoffs.
Glassboro with a bad snap, well over the head of the punter. Picks it up and he'll try to, he's still on his feet. Finally brought down. I tell you what, John, I mean, this Glassboro team is really making things difficult on itself.
Yeah, and it's just the mistakes that they've made. They've really done well moving the football. Defensively, they've done pretty well. But if you continue to give Gloucester this type of field position and you give them this many opportunities to score for your mistakes, there's not a chance that they'll be in the playoffs.
I mean, the punter here, Glassboro's Kevin Cunningham, just had no chance.
No shot to get that football or get it off.
2:52 left. O'Donnell handoff inside to Londino. Cut down after a short gain, and now again the Glassboro defense is going to have to hold here. As we talked before, how Glassboro at least would get the punt off and force Gloucester to go the, 3/4 of the length of the field. Now things are very difficult. The other thing too is this Glassboro team has made the playoffs 7 straight years, and some people may criticize Coach Herb Nealio because there's an expectation they make it every year. Listen, it's not Herb Nealio that is committing these mistakes. Ball thrown up in the end zone, has a man, and it's brought down, touchdown! Ian James with the catch off of O'Donnell, and just like that, Gloucester makes Glassboro pay for the mistake.
What I say about not having a huge passing game, Ian James is a receiver that just catches the football. He can haul it in. Great hands, great route runner, gets behind the defender, and then comes up with a nice catch.
Again, Glassboro will have to come back against this tough Gloucester defense. Gloucester has scored first in every game this season. Kick is up, and the kick is no good. So Londino misses the extra point, and we'll see how that plays out. But again, a big play here as O'Donnell hooks up with Ian James. James with his 9th receiving touchdown on the season.
Now Glassboro received the kick, and you don't have Terrence Holmes back there. Isaiah Graves is a dangerous return man. They're going to need to set themselves up. There's plenty of time left. Just over 2 minutes left on the clock, and they do have a passing game. Marcus Fowler has shown that he can throw the ball, set up a couple of screens, try to do some stuff with Marquis Robinson. Maybe they can get themselves in position where they can get a score and come back. Otherwise, they go in to the locker room, Rob, without any momentum whatsoever. I mean, you go into the locker room 0-0, I think it's a totally different ball game than what just happened just now. The big mistake on the special teams for Glassboro could be the difference in this game. You're not going to score many points against Gloucester.
One of the things that bodes well, at least for this Glassboro team, is that they've been effective in the air. So it is possible that they can get something going here, even with just 2:10 left. Kicking off for Gloucester, Big Tom Ferry. Back to receive. It's going to be Graves and Baxter.
I'm waiting for one of them.
Little squibber, and Gloucester will not come up with it. Very fortunate for Glassboro, as I don't think that's the intention of Ferry to have essentially what would have been an onside kick. It just kind of went off the side of his foot, but Glassboro caught off guard, and Gloucester had a big opportunity there, unable to take advantage.
You know what I think Leon Harris is thinking there is just trying to squib pick it. If they get the ball there, that's fine. They don't want the big return by Isaiah Graves, one of those dangerous Glassboro return men to break one, use that speed to get into the end zone quick.
So Glassboro will have to just go 59 yards to tie this game up. 2:09 left. Fowler directing traffic. Marquis Robinson sets up as the tight end. One setback is Graves. And again, Herb Melio is very upset. When you have a delay of game on your first play of the drive, you can understand that that's unsettling.
They had too many guys moving around at one time. They just didn't seem comfortable with that play. Losses them 5 yards.
Again, Glassboro continues to shoot itself in the foot. They've shot themselves in the foot so many times, they're going to have to start shooting elsewhere.
Leg,
pain, something.
They're running out of digits on their feet. Down to one pinky toe.
Fowler back to pass. Getting flushed out, dumps it off to Graves. Graves will try to get outside. He does, and he's brought down inbounds. And they'll pick up maybe 1 or 2 yards there. That play broke down immediately. It looked like it may have been set up to be a screen, but still Graves unable to get outside quick enough.
Yeah, he had a bunch of Gloucester defenders in front of him, nothing he can do. Just trying to get out of bounds. Now with 1:43 and counting, clock just moving down. And again, Glassboro doesn't want to make another mistake here. It's important for Marcus Fowler to realize what's going on. You're down 7 points, or you're down 6 points. You don't want to go down by 2 scores into the locker room.
Fowler takes the handoff. Has time, goes across the middle, looking for a man, and it's picked off again. Ian James again with the interception. 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles, 1 recovered by Gloucester, and a bad snap. This has been a forgettable first half for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, the turnovers, that one doesn't hurt as bad. I mean, it's almost like a punt. They're going for it here. See Fowler just cock back and let her rip. Looking for Baxter over the middle of the field, and Ian James with those soft, great hands of his pulls it down and in. But now with 1:16 left, you know, you're trying to get something going, try to score some points, and you need something against this Gloucester Lions team. You need to try and get the big play.
Handoff from Zeno, and they're trying to strip him of the football. He's holding on this time. So a short gain will bring up a 2nd down. 3 different members of that Gloucester secondary with picks today. Woodman, Jones, and James.
And again, Rob, you're not going to get too many. I know Glassboro's been able to do it so far today, get a couple of drives, but you're not going to be able to have too many sustained drives against the team. I think they're looking to try and get the big play, and that's what they're doing right there. I don't fault Marcus Fowler for trying on that situation and that play with the time left to go up top and try to make something happen.
Again, quick handoff inside, hit immediately is Garcia. Nice play by the diminutive Dan Haggerty, 5'3", 170-pound senior. So 25 seconds left in this first half, and I don't think Gloucester will have to take another snap here.
Glassboro within a touchdown and an extra point from going into the playoffs, so they find themselves down at halftime, but they just need to say, look, we did okay in the first half. We were able to move the football a little bit. We played pretty well defensively. We just made mistakes. We need to eliminate the mistakes, come out and basically do the same thing we did. Use the passing game and try to just gear up for that second half and pull away a win here.
Well, if you told Herb Melio you'd have 3 interceptions, a bad punt snap, and a fumble, and you're down by 6, he'd probably be happy. And that's what the score is here. Gloucester on top of Glassboro by 6 as we end the first half. Welcome back to Gloucester City High School. About to begin the second half. Gloucester on top 6-0 on the strength of an O'Donnell to James hookup. And let's take a look at it. As you see, it was a 2nd down and 7 after a turnover. O'Donnell throws the out pattern and just allows James to run underneath it. A big reception and a big turn of events as Glassboro's defense equally as strong as Gloucester's. And, you know, one might argue, Shawn, that it was really Glassboro kind of creating its own problems, not so much Gloucester doing it.
Yeah, they had the 3 turnovers, a bad snap on the pump, which set up that touchdown. And you know, three minutes left basically going into the halftime. You thought it was going to be a 0-0 score, or in the likelihood it would have been, and a bad snap puts them in a situation now where they have to come back against the Gloucester defense that's allowed 1 touchdown, and it was late in the 4th quarter against a pretty good Shalleck team, the first game of the year. And what about Shalleck? This is a team that, for the first time in the school's history, makes the playoffs in Group 1. And that just shows how good this Classic Division has been this year. Herb Nealio said this has probably been, in his 10 years, the best Classic Division, with Salem having a good year, Shalleck having a good year, and of course Gloucester and Glassboro. And Pittman also. Pittman, this is one of their better years, but they just ran into some pretty good teams in the Classic Division.
Or you start the second half, and quickly on the run, picking it off is James. James with a big return across midfield, cuts it back inside, has one man to beat, and brought down from behind. But that is just the way that Coach Herb Nealio did not want this second half to begin.
No, and it was kind of like a line drive, and once you get those line drives on kickoffs, you get the whole momentum going, and everything happens just too fast. You don't really give the unit time to set up once you loft that ball in the air. That line drive hurt them, and now Gloucester again with an opportunity with a mistake on special teams for Glassboro, just not getting down and getting the tackle. And you see Ian James, it's a line drive right to him. So immediately his momentum is already has him moving forward, and it doesn't get that defense time to set up and make a tackle, and he just streaks down the sidelines. It almost breaks it away here if it wasn't for Graves coming on the backside, as you see coming up behind us. He gets behind Robinson, and Graves is able to haul him down from behind. That's Phil Graves, the junior.
Well, Gloucester calls a timeout here. We had some confusion last half with Glassboro starting a drive. This time it's Gloucester. Coach Leon Harris sets up the troops. First down and 10. Lions with great field position at the 26-yard line of the Bulldogs. Handoff inside, big hole. Still on his feet. Spins around. Cuts it back inside. And finally brought down. Andrew Brandt with a fine carry.
Andrew Brandt, this guy came into the game with 610 yards. They have talking about Marquis Robinson and Isaiah Graves being a good 1-2 punch for Glassboro. Andrew Brandt and Vince Londino is as good as it gets at tailback. Both those guys spell each other. And as I said, Londino with those injuries, they needed somebody to step up. Andrew Brandt has been that guy.
Ian James is split wide right, lined up one-on-one against Graves. I formation, handoff Brandt. Brandt tries to cut back, and this time he meets big Isaac Chapman.
And here he's just going to get a good lead block. Nice block also by 56. Joe Hartzell spins to the outside a couple of moves, gives him the first down, but it starts with that blocking up front with Hartzell sealing the end. And then you get the big fullback, Matt Garcia, running through the front for you. Picks up a first down and gives Gloucester a nice chance to score. They still can get a first down without scoring.
O'Donnell back to pass, throws the out, looking for James. James picks it off, and he's cut down at about the 8-yard line. So O'Donnell showing some good arm strength there, finds Ian James.
That's
short pickup, but sets up the third down.
Yeah, it's a nice little out pattern. He does get a little zip on that ball. There's not much that James could do with it. Thrown a little bit behind him, so he couldn't turn quickly upfield and try to make a couple of get a couple of extra yards. Nonetheless, it sets up about a 3rd and 5 for him.
I formation, O'Donnell. Quick drop, back to pass, has time across the middle, hits James, and James has the ball knocked out. It looks like actually the ball was slipping out before he got hit, but a quick slant pattern there, and O'Donnell unable to hook up with James. You see James just trying to straighten out that shoulder pad there, and this is a big play. Shawn, I can't underscore how important this play is for this Glassboro defense.
Yeah, you know what, they need to stop him here because, as you said, they're not going to get many points against Gloucester.
I'm not sure you're going to score more than 1 touchdown against this Gloucester defense, so critical play here. They're going to need a good push from that line. Back to pass, O'Donnell, quick drop, hit in the backfield and brought down. Sacked on the play as Shawn Baxter able to knock him down, and Glassboro's defense big all day long.
And good call, Herb Nealio, a great defensive coordinator under Bob Cleary. Now the head coach of Glassboro sends Haggerty from the outside, the linebacker coming in. And along with Baxter, the defensive end gets to the quarterback and gives Glassboro the ball on downs.
Well, Glassboro maybe with a little bit of a momentum boost here. First down and 10 for the Bulldogs. Handoff Graves. Graves immediately cut down by Tom Ferry.
This is Tom Leary's first year on defense. He's very strong and quick for his size. Also the big guy that's handling all the kickoff duties. It's always fun to watch big 270-pounders get their foot into one.
It's like Lou Perot's second down. Bulldogs have had a tough time of it deep in their own end at their own 16. Inside Robinson, into the secondary. Past the 40, James will track him down at the 40. Now at the 30, James trips him up at the 19-yard line. Marquis Robinson finally brought down, but Glassboro once again able to move the ball against this vaunted Gloucester defense.
Just a beautiful inside trap. Marquis Robinson gets ahead of steam, and once he gets into the open field, he uses his speed. Ian James allowed to track him down, but there he keeps his balance, and he gets that big frame running upfield, straight up the middle. Ian James with that good speed is able to track him down, trying to get a block from Maurice Robinson, but unable to do so. But nonetheless, another huge play for Glassboro. They've had a few of them in this game.
Great run by Marquis Robinson. The Bulldogs on the march. Handoff Graves. Graves hit in the backfield again. How many times have we seen that today? And Gloucester's John Davidson makes the big play.
Yeah, and they're so intense on first down. They make sure that you're not going to get outside on them. They're not allowing Graves to use his speed to turn the corner, and it just continues to be 4 or 5 yard losses every time on first down when you try to run to the outside on this team. What you might want to do eventually, and you might see, is they use that to their advantage and throw a screen.
Handoff Robinson, he'll try to cut it inside, and he's chopped down after a gain of about 2 or 3.
You know, one thing that Marquis Robinson does, we've seen him fumble twice in this game, is he holds that ball out kind of. Noticed it on the big carry. He holds that ball out there a little bit. He's got to be careful of that. You don't want another turnover here where you have an opportunity now, 3rd and 10, to put some points on the board.
8.5 minutes left in this third quarter. Glassboro trying to tie things up here. They trail by 6. One setback, it's Robinson. Fowler back to pass, looking, has a man out, hits him, and brought down is Shawn Baxter after a very short gain.
Yeah, he didn't get much, if anything. That's going to bring up 4th down. They maybe picked up about 2 yards on that play.
You know, typically on those out patterns, you're going to get whatever the distances of the ball in the air.
Right.
Whereas on the slants, you're going to pick up some yaks, yards after catch.
Love the word yak. 4th down. Glassboro's electing to go for it instead of trying to put a field goal.
4th down, about 8. Back to pass. Fowler getting a rush, hit from the blind side, and sacked by Chad Zierfoss. I tell you what, this Gloucester defense has had big plays from just about every member.
Well, that's what they're a total team unit. That's the reason why they've only given up 7 points throughout this entire year. And that makes that Ian James run down from behind so important, because once you have that type of defense, you can make plays and prohibit the touchdown. Just that simple play by Ian James hustling back, making sure that Marquis Robinson doesn't get to the end zone. This allows any type of Glassboro score.
First down and 10. Lions at their own 24-yard line. Handoff inside Brandt. Brandt, it's actually Mondino. And Mondino tackled after a pickup of about 5. Mondino and Brandt, very similar. Both 5'9", both seniors, both 185 pounds. So you get a lot of the same looks from those two. Second down and 5 here for the Gloucester Lions with about 7 minutes left in this third quarter. Glassboro needs to score against Gloucester. Gloucester hasn't yielded points in the last 26 quarters. Brought down deep in the backfield once again is Londino, and he'll lose all the yards that he picked up on the earlier carrier.
So you can see what Marquis Robinson means to this football team, both offensively and defensively, and how big and gutsy of a move it is for Herb Nealio to gain the respect of his team by sitting him in the first quarter in such a monumental game for this program. Early on in Herb Nealio's career as a head starting football coach, he makes a big decision to sit him in the first quarter, and you see what type of a player he is. He's a difference maker, and he comes up with a big play on second down.
Third down now, about 10. Back to pass O'Donnell, getting some push from Baxter. Baxter trips him up. Nice play made by Sean Baxter. Another big sack by the Bulldogs.
Huge play by Baxter, getting to the corner and just tripping up O'Donnell, not allowing him to get the pass off. That brings the Gloucester punting unit onto the field. You see Baxter gets a good push from the end. He stays to the outside, and once you do that, he just gets a piece of the ankle of O'Donnell, and O'Donnell goes down.
Fourth down now, as Gloucester was headed in the wrong direction. Ian James back to punt. It's a good snap. He gets it away. Coming up, it'll be Graves. Graves will have to let it bounce, and finally downed on the play by Tom Ferry, but Glassboro will have good field position to start this drive. That's been a rarity this morning. With 5:24 left in the third quarter, it's Glassboro trailing Gloucester 6-0. Welcome back to Gloucester High School. Third quarter, 5 minutes and running. We missed one play, and it was a big one as Marquis Robinson fumbles the football. That's Robinson's third fumble of the afternoon, Sean. Again, very fortunate for the Bulldogs as they did recover.
Jason King laid the hit on Marquis Robinson, jarred the ball loose. He leads the team in fumble recoveries. That time he jarred one loose, though.
Fowler gets the big rush and brought down again. Joe Shin. I mean, every single play, Sean, it's a different member of this Lions defense coming up with big plays.
Yeah, he's a guy who rotates with Chad Zierfrost, the defensive end. Zierfrost, a 3-year starter, but Shin gets the chance to get the rush on Marcus Fowler, and Fowler was smart enough to realize don't throw the ball there because he had good coverage on his man. That's basically where you just pull it down and make sure he doesn't make the bad play. And that's something that they probably talked about at halftime. Don't try to force anything in there.
Fowler with Robinson and Graves in the backfield. Back to pass. Throws it up. Looking outside, trying to find Buchanan, but unable to connect. And now you have a question if you're Herb Nealio. Do you go for it on fourth down, or do you punt it when your only punt of the day has been a disaster?
You got to try and punt it here and pin him deep. Try to get that defense on the field. The defense has done a pretty good job against Gloucester. And you want to give yourself an opportunity. Plenty of time, 3:55 left. You don't want to turn the ball over here and allow Gloucester to get the good field position. But again, try to maintain field position in a defensive game.
The problem is that the last time they tried to punt it ended up 40 yards in the wrong direction.
Well, you gotta rely on it. I mean, that was their first punt. Now, if it would happen again here and a couple times after that, then you start thinking about it.
A snap high again. Cunningham will have to rush, and he gets it away. Gets it away. Ball bounces and finally picked up. And knocked down is Andrew Myers. Myers did a good job of just getting that football and going in the right direction.
And you're right, Rob, they're having a little bit of trouble in the punting game. That ball wasn't as nearly as high as the last one, but still it's something that if you Herb Nealio, you have a little lump in your throat after that exchange between the center and the punter.
You know, I noticed before the game started, Herb Nealio does not have any gray hair, okay? And that's because this is his first year as a head coach. Next year, Sean, when we see him,
it'll look like his dad.
Exactly. First down and 10. Handoff, it's Londino. Big pickup, close to a first down. Pickup of about 9, second down and 1.
Again, they're running behind Joe Hartzell, Tom Ferry on the left side. Tom Ferry, probably the best offensive lineman, started as a sophomore. Hartzell, this is his first year playing offense. Two really good lines.
Mondino cut down. I'll tell you what, we've talked about this Gloucester defense all day long, but Glassboro's defense has been outstanding as well, only yielding 6 points, and that's after a series of turnovers. You really have to credit the Bulldogs.
You got to credit the defensive ends and the outside linebackers for both teams. They're really getting good push, not allowing either team to get outside on them. That's one thing you got to make sure with Glassboro, with Isaiah Graves. Once he gets to the outside, he can really do some damage. Gloucester's done a nice job. Glassboro's hanging right in there with him, doing the same thing, not allowing Mondino to get to the edge.
And O'Donnell cut down again. A big rush inside as Marquis Robinson brings down O'Donnell. And I tell you what, this has just been a great football game if you like defense.
And Marquis Robinson has really played, going right over top of Joe Brophy, the center, one of the captains on this team, and they're just bringing too many guys. It's one of those situations where you don't know who to block. There's just too many of them. It's a mismatch, and Glassboro is getting the job done. Herb Nealio is a defensive genius, and you can see here from Glassboro's defensive effort today, they're doing very well against Gloucester's offense, who is nothing to sneeze at.
Ian James, a bad punt, bad snap, able to get it away. That's a great job by Ian James, and still look at the punt he gets away. A big bounce all the way into Glassboro territory. Ian James, I tell you what, Sean, that's the play of the game.
And he looks like he might have stretched his groin out a little bit. He's holding it right now. But there's two things that you won't see on a stat sheet. Ian James pulling down Marquis Robinson from behind to save a touchdown and getting that punt off. You won't see that, but that's the value that this kid has for this team. He's really been an MVP type player for Gloucester. And his dad plays the bagpipes before the game.
Well, here you see Ian James setting up, and again, a bad snap here.
Look at this. This is just incredible to get this ball off.
Not only does he get it off, but that's the best punt of the day. Handoff Graves. A lot of room, and finally stopped at the 45-yard line of Gloucester, so about a yard shy of the first down. And a minute and a half left in this third quarter and counting. Gloucester has not yielded a touchdown. Should they not yield one here, it'll be 27 quarters.
That reason right there is the reason why if I was coaching a team, I would send them all 10 at every single time. Every single time putting pressure. It's so hard to get the punt off in high school. You see so many bad snaps. And Glassboro did that to Woodbury a couple years ago in the playoffs continuously. They should have done it right there. They would have been able to certainly get the ball in better field position than they are.
Well, Graves now starting to exploit little seams in that line, and he's at the 38-yard line of Gloucester.
And I'll tell you who works on that a lot, and you see what a great team and great coach he is Glenn Howard. He forces the issue on special teams, works a lot at it. That's why they block so many punts. They put so much pressure. They put so much pressure on the center, and they make bad moves.
Delsey also very good on special teams. Robinson fumbles again. Marquis Robinson has fumbled now 4 times this afternoon, and Glassboro has been lucky enough to fall on the football 3 of the 4 times. I tell you what, if you're Herb Nealio, you're just scratching your head right now.
Yeah, he must be eating jelly for breakfast, because this ball just keeps on squirting out of his hands, and he's just going behind his blockers, and it's just, stretching for that extra yard, and the ball's just popping out.
Gain of 8, second down and 2. Glassboro with just 7 seconds remaining in this quarter. I'm not sure if they'll get this play off. Fowler underneath center, and that'll do it for the quarter. So he will not get the play off as the third quarter ends. We head to the fourth quarter. To no surprise, it's been a great defensive battle. Gloucester leads 6-0. Welcome back. Start of the fourth quarter. Gloucester on top 6-0. Second down and 2 here at the Gloucester 30-yard line. Marquis Robinson cuts it back inside, and he'll pick up enough as he stretches out that football for a first down.
I'll tell you what, for fumbling 4 times, he's not afraid to put that ball out there.
That might be the problem.
But again, Marquis Robinson, nice cut there. He's really running the ball really nicely, aside from them fumbles. There he sees that the outside's taken away from him, so he shifts in real quick and cuts in and gets that first down. And he wouldn't have been able to get it if he would have tried to get to the outside. He might have lost yardage. Those are those little things that happen during a football game. You really got to look and say somebody did a great job. Marquis Robinson did it there with just a 2-yard gain.
Let's see if they pass here. They've had trouble running on first down. No, it's Graves. Graves finds a seam, cuts it outside. Graves into the secondary. Graves is in for the touchdown. Isaiah Graves has tied things up and scored against Gloucester.
It was a simple little play fake, Rob. They're going to fake it to Marquis Robinson. And one thing that Graves did extremely well is he set up his blockers on that play to get him into the end zone and tie things up.
Isaiah Graves finds the seam, utilizes those great afterburners, and now the extra point would put Glassboro on top. That would be the first time all year Gloucester has trailed. Kick is up, and the kick is no good. No good. And we are tied at 6. Wow.
How important is it to get it to a guy that can kick field goals and extra points? Gloucester fails to convert on their first try. Glassboro fails to convert here. It's so important. It's just sometimes you see teams like Deptford, who has Tom Beast this year, and Paulsboro, who always has good kickers. Clearview, another team. Sometimes it's hard for these Group 1 schools to find somebody who can kick. But again, here's a little play fake. They're going to fake the ball. Fowler's going to get first, fake it to his fullback, Robinson, and then Graves off to the races. And once he gets into that secondary, uses his wide receiver, good block downfield. I believe it was Baxter who set him up. And Graves does a great job. You know, sometimes it's those patient runners. That's what Graves does extremely well. And Julian Worley, who was a Glassboro back here years ago, just had good speed, just had that natural flow with him. And he set up his blocker as well. And I think Graves learned something from watching Worley and Kevin Evans run the football, where you set your blockers up and then use that speed to kind of get to the outside. You can make your move and use that speed to your advantage, cut in, cut out, and get into the end zone. That's his 11th touchdown of the season. It couldn't come at a bigger time.
Glassboro's only kicked off the football once today, and James had a big return. Here's the second kickoff. They'll kick it away from James, and picking it up for Gloucester, it's John King. King is brought down, and Gloucester with bad field position. That's been a rarity this afternoon. 11:19 left in this football game, tied at 6. Gloucester giving up just their second touchdown this entire football season. The first one came in the first game of the season against Shalleck. 27 straight quarters without yielding a point. That streak has come to an end.
I remember Gloucester in this game, I know they're playing for pride, and they lost to Glassboro last year in the regular season to allow Glassboro the division title, even though they beat them the week before in the semis.
And off inside, Londino will pick up maybe one. And again, this Glassboro defense has been rock solid all afternoon.
But Rob, you know, Glassboro right now is fighting for their playoff lives. All right, there's 7 straight years. There's a lot of pride on this team. Gloucester, they're number 2 seed, regardless. Whatever happens here, they're stuck at number 2. They're not going anywhere. So you can see how the urgency of Glassboro has kind of inspired this team to play with the Gloucester Lions. I think Gloucester Lions is a little bit more talented than Glassboro, but it's all heart right now for the Bulldogs.
O'Donnell getting some pressure and finally brought down by big Isaac Chapman. Isaac Chapman says, I tell you what, I ate a running back, now it's time for the quarterback.
He's getting a little taste of every single one of them. He's a big guy who takes up a lot of space, but there he just uses that bull rush. O'Donnell trying to step up into the pocket, stepped up into the arms of a big 315-pound monster.
I think the running back at 5'9" was just the appetizer. Now he's going for the big meal. Third down, about 13. James split wide right. In motion for Gloucester, it's Ken Jones. And a whistle blows. And I think we're going to have a delay of game call against Gloucester. And, you know, Shawn, this is a situation that's difficult for a head coach. You have a situation where your team has been so successful all year long, and now you're put into a position where you've never been here before. How are your players going to react?
And this is the situation that they'll find themselves for the next couple of weeks in playoff time. And Leon Harris, you know, Classic Division has been pretty strong, but it's not going to be some of the likes that you'll see with Paulsboro and Woodbury from the Colonial, where they might see those teams.
Screen is set up and cut down immediately is Garcia. A dangerous pass, and Garcia comes down with it, but picked up and brought down immediately by Glassboro.
Looking for the sophomore. After the fourth game, Garcia steps in, and
Chris Downs, the big play.
Garcia starts for Gloucester after the fourth game. Has done a really nice job just looking for that little screen. He's done a nice job here. But right, Downs, the big guy, alongside Chapman, gets the job done. This is where I'd send all 10. I'd send all 10. Let him go after him, especially after a bad snap.
James will hustle to get it away. Another good punt by James. Back to receive. Glassboro has trouble with the football. Able to pick it up, though, but finally brought down on the play. Maurice Robinson, I tell you what, something went on today in the Robinson household because they didn't having a tough time holding on to that football.
I'm telling you, it was jelly for breakfast.
And on top of the fumble by Robinson, you have a push in the back, so Glassboro's going backwards.
Yeah, Robinson gets under, but he lets the ball hits him on the chest. All you young football players, you see the mistake there. You got to catch it with your hands and pull it in. You can't allow it to hit your body because the ball bounces. The ball's bouncy. So once they hit your chest pads, you can see there, it might even been a little face
mask there he got away with. But I tell you what,
nice
Robinson, although he picked that ball up cleanly and went forward, that's a mistake too. He should have just fell on that football. I tell you what, we had a great look from our cameraman at that face mask, and now I think the officials are trying to talk about exactly what's going on here.
I love, see, little Haggerty comes in here. He wants to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Number 56, and he's been a really nice player for this Glassboro team.
So some confusion down on the field. I'm not sure entirely what the confusion is.
Nice of him to wear a mic for us today.
Couldn't wait to get that jab in, could you, Shawn? Some choice commentary by our director, Stan Ritter, as well.
I like my job, so I won't repeat it. There you see Leon Harrison.
I think Leon Harris is saying, listen, why didn't you just wear the mic and we could all get this straightened down?
I'd even help out. But Leon Harris, as you said, Rob, this is a point where he looks at his team and say, you know, you got to respond here. This is a rivalry game. I know Glassboro has a little bit more on the line than Gloucester does today. But, you know, Glassboro can also tie for a division title with Gloucester with a win.
That's pretty amazing considering that right now they're 4-3.
Right, and with the two different, this is the first year that Classic Division has an A and a B.
So the penalties will offset, and it looks like they're going to punt it again. So a long time to figure that out. As long as they get it right, that's what we always say, right?
Well, he wasn't trying to figure out our mic, that's for sure. Here's my second jab. If I get one more uppercut, I might knock him down.
Left hook next. 9:07 left. You know, again, that wasn't the best snap in the world either. And I think you're right, Shawn. I mean, why not put some pressure on Ian James back there?
I love seeing teams like Virginia Tech and College just send them, Paulsboro High School, just send them, put the pressure on the punter, make him get it off.
Again, a bad snap. James quickly gets it away. He'll find Robinson, who will let it bounce this time. And it's brought down at about the 47-yard line of Gloucester. With 8:57 left in this fourth quarter, Glassboro tied at 6. Glassboro once again with good field position here. 8:57 left in this fourth quarter. Ball at the 47-yard line of Gloucester. First down and 10. Inside handoff. Robinson into the secondary. Robinson enough for a first down. And this Glassboro line starting to open up some holes for Robinson and Graves.
I'll tell you, every single week, it seems like we're doing a football game where we talk about a fullback that can run the football effectively. You have so many right now in Gloucester County and South Jersey that fullbacks give them the football and let them go with it. These guys are big, they're strong, they can carry the football. All Marquis Robinson has to do is hold on to it. He's had an outstanding afternoon.
Here's Graves. Graves tackled after a pickup of about 4 or 5 yards. And looks like I thought the Gloucester player, Robert Keefe, was in pain, but just a little awkward getting up there. So pickup of about 5, second down and 5. And Glassboro would love here, Shawn, is to not only, of course, score the touchdown, but do it after a sustained drive.
Oh yeah, they'd love to take some of that time off the clock and get it into the end zone, take the lead.
Second down, handoff again inside, and Robinson picks up about 3 or 4.
I'll tell you what, you have to give credit right now to this Glassboro offensive line. This Gloucester defensive front is some of the best right now in South Jersey. You have to give it to Weiss, Haggerty, Smith, Chapman, and Downing. The way they're playing, and especially now towards the end of the game. Usually it's the opposite way around. You usually see the bigger, stronger team wearing down its opponent. It seems like Glassboro has the momentum now in the trenches. And that's something that coming into this game you really didn't think you would see with the Gloucester Lions highly touted defense.
Handoff again, and they continue to go to the big guy Robinson, and Robinson tripped up immediately. He may have even lost a yard there. And we have a Glassboro player down on the field in a lot of pain is Michael Weiss.
That's their center.
That's a problem. Weiss obviously in agony. Looks like it may be an ankle. And again, the problem here is that exchange between the quarterback and the center.
Let's see if we can see it here. Michael Weiss under center. Looks like maybe one of his own players maybe rolled up over the back of his leg. And when you're a lineman and somebody rolls up on your leg, that's usually a bad sign. You can see he's in a good deal of pain right now.
I don't know if we can get a shot over on the sideline, but you see Joshua Weiss, who's actually, you know, I guess it's a tradition here. It's going to be a Weiss who's snapping the football, but he's getting off some quick snaps there to Fowler just to make sure that there's a crisp exchange.
I think Mayor McCabe made that law in Glassboro now. Weiss, only Weiss can snap the football for Glassboro. Yeah, it's a shame because that Michael Weiss is really favoring that leg. And you can see that's an injury. He won't be back in this game.
And from the look of it, he may not be back next week if Glassboro goes on to win this football game.
And they had great momentum running inside. Now let's see what that does to the team with Joshua Weiss, the younger brother of Michael, now in the game.
He's a freshman, but he's a big boy. 215 pounds is the younger Weiss. Back to pass. Fowler has time, throws across the middle, throws it up, and it's knocked down. Not a very good pass by Fowler. Kind of a wounded duck, and Gloucester takes over on downs.
And again, throwing off his back foot. Every time he's thrown off his back foot, he hasn't come close to completing the pass. Except, well, actually he has, but it's been to Gloucester players.
6:55 left, first down and 10. Gloucester at their own 27-yard line. O'Donnell, 2 running backs, hands off to Garcia. Garcia well into the secondary. First down for the Lions. I tell you what, this crowd is starting to really pick things up. I got to tell you what, Shawn, you got to credit this crowd. I mean, they have been into this football game. They've seen a great football game, but they really bring a lot to this Gloucester Lions team.
Well, I'm impressed with the Gloucester crowd. I'm really disappointed with the Glassboro crowd. Now that other side of that fence in years past would have been lined up, and really the Glassboro fans didn't come out to support the Bulldogs in a big game.
6 minutes, 30 seconds left. O'Donnell again, 2 setbacks. It's Garcia and Brandt. Hand off Brandt. Brandt hits the line, and he is tackled. As kind of interesting means of tackling. George Johnson just picked up his leg and dumped him on his head.
Well, that's a new freshman style. You come behind the guy, grab his leg, and pick it up.
Well, you know, that's textbook tackling. I'm just not sure what textbook that comes from.
You wouldn't think that Brandt had the leg up here, as you see George Johnson.
Yeah, looks like
him up.
Looks like Brandt had a leg up on Johnson. Under 6 minutes now. Second down. Back to pass. O'Donnell looking for James. James with an out and up. and unable to come down with it. Good coverage there by Graves.
Great coverage by Graves, running with James down the sideline.
I like the play call there, though. Going for the home run.
Well, you got 5:51 left. Ian James is your playmaker, an MVP on this team who came into the game with, I believe, 15 receptions, 8 touchdowns. An outstanding wide receiver, and Gloucester's had a couple of good ones here.
That sets up another big third down here. Glassboro defense has been very strong all afternoon. 3rd and 9 for the Lions at their 41-yard line. O'Donnell back to pass, has time, sprints out of the pocket, getting flushed out by Haggerty, still on his feet, tries to sidestep the sideline, and that is a bad play by Robinson. And now another penalty. I tell you what, Maurice Robinson with an ill-advised forearm to the quarterback. And I tell you what, just a terrible play by Robinson. Look at this.
Well, he's flushed out. He's running down the sidelines. Tiptoe does go out. You know what?
He was already.
And I don't really agree with that call. I don't know. I didn't see any shot to the head or anything like that. But the quarterbacks run, and you see this a lot now. You see a lot of trying to protect the quarterbacks at every level of football. If the guy's running down the sideline, why are you not allowed to touch him? You can't allow the quarterback to just continue to spark down. And he also not only gets the personal foul penalty, but it's 15 extra yards because of the unsportsmanlike conduct after that, after he was going along with some of the Gloucester lines. I think they're going to call.
He's already out of bounds. Now look at this. Boom, okay. Right to the head.
All right, that's a shot to the head.
On top of that, Robinson with a terrible play there starts jabbing with the referee, and that's 15 more yards. So Robinson cost them 30 yards, and you can't. You know, that illustrates Herb Neilio's point. You have to have discipline on a football team, and when football players do something as unwise as that.
I didn't see the blow to the head. I really didn't see it when he came over. I don't like the call if he did get low and just knocked him out of bounds because he's going down the sideline. I didn't see the blow to the head, but there was a blow to the head there. That cost him the 15 yards. But then even stupider is to get your 15-yard penalty caught against him. You might have cost your team a chance to go to the playoffs
and a title for the conference,
and a title for and a share of the conference just by being stupid.
I mean, Maurice Robinson is a senior, and you just can't have that from a senior. It's disappointing because, first of all, you don't want to see cheap shots in a football game. Second of all, we've had a very cleanly played football game, and if you're Glassboro, you just shake your head and say, what are you doing? Handoff inside. Garcia's still on his feet. And I tell you what, you can just sense the momentum change here after that play by Robinson.
And, in all fairness to Robinson, on the first initial hit, he may not have been trying to go to that, just trying to get him out of bounds, and it might not have been an initial thing.
Well, I tell you, he was already out of bounds, though. That was the thing. I mean, he was already out of bounds. He still delivers the shot to the head. O'Donnell was out of bounds for 2 or 3 yards. It's just inexcusable. 2nd down and 1. Handoff. Brought down from behind is Londino, and he'll be short of the 1st down.
So now Glassboro just has to respond. The defense has done it for the most part the entire game. But now backed up with only 4:52 left. Their season hangs in the balance on 3rd and short. They need 2 stops to try and get the ball back.
3rd down. Handoff again, hit in the backfield is Londino. This Glassboro defense has been fantastic.
And they're coming straight up the middle of the field with Haggerty. Isaac Chapman.
Loss of 3 yards, 4th down and 5.
Now the 21-yard line, this would be like a 38-yard field goal. Brock Boland from Delsey last year might have been able to boot one through, but Gloucester doesn't have that type of kicker on the field.
Gloucester crowd urging them on. Back to pass. O'Donnell with time, plenty of time. Throws it up, looking for James. Brought down and ruled as incomplete pass, but it doesn't matter as the ball will be turned over on downs. This Glassboro defense has held again.
So the Glassboro defense bails out their teammate Maurice Robinson with a couple of incredible plays defensively, and they're just really doing the job up the middle, getting tremendous pressure, hitting Londino and Brandt in the backfield, and now they have a chance with 3:45 left to try and march downfield and get into the Group 1 playoffs for the 8th straight year.
Well, Glassboro is going to have a tough time of doing that, as I'm not sure they have enough time on this clock, but we'll see. Handoff inside, and Marquis Robinson cut down after a gain of about 5 or 6.
Good game today, Rob.
What a game. This has been one of the best games we've ever done, I think. It's just such a, I love defensive battles. And I tell you what, Glassboro, really had a tough time just getting on everybody on the same page in that first half. Don't take anything away from this Gloucester defense, but I've been very impressed with this Glassboro defense. And fake, it's Graves, and Graves brought down after a gain of about 2 or 3.
Interesting to note, we have terrible prognostication on Michael Weiss. Number 54 is limping out there playing in this game, back in for the Bulldogs.
I'll tell you what, that just illustrates the heart and soul of this Glassboro team. These are kids that understand what's on the line. This is a program that has been to the playoffs 7 straight years, and if they come away today with a win, they'll make it 8. Otherwise, they're going home early. And off again, and it looks like it's going to be very close to the first down. So Shawn, will put you on the spot here for the first time in the afternoon. Did he get it?
I'm going to say no, he did.
All right, timeout on the field. We'll take a look. I think he's going to be a little bit short, but we'll see.
You just take it from me, he's short. Don't even need to bring the chains out. I got a new pair of contacts in. I'm feeling like my sight is about 20/20. Oh!
First down. Well, 0 for 0. Our director, Stan Ritter, and Shawn, you're both 0 for 1 on the day.
I'm horrible. Back then, I'm done. After this game, I'm not prognosticating any more first down calls.
If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times, do not listen to Stan, our director.
Nah, he leads me wrong every single time.
First down and 10. Weiss still in there at center. Fowler with a pair of running backs with 2 minutes and 5 seconds and counting. Handoff is fake. Fowler flushed out of the pocket. Fowler brought down. Big loss on the play. And that changes everything for the Glassboro Bulldogs. What a play as Jason King comes up with the big sack.
Number 19 fires in there. Jason King, along with one of his teammates, number 83, Robert Keith, the big defensive end. Keith wasn't able to get him. But like royalty, King comes up huge.
I tell you what, I'm very surprised that Leon Harris hasn't called timeout yet. It's 1 minute 26 seconds and counting. And Glassboro obviously is going to have a heck of a time just getting that first down. Handoff, Marquis Robinson, and now Leon Harris calls timeout. So 1 minute 16 left here, and Gloucester calls timeout. It'll be 3rd down. I got to believe that Herb Nealio is going to keep the ball on the ground here and force Leon Harris to use that last timeout of his. Don't forget that we started this game, or this second half, Leon Harris was forced to burn a timeout. That may come back and bite him.
Yeah, he was forced to burn it. Again, with 1 minute 16, like you were saying, Rob, I'm surprised he didn't use it a little earlier. Use it back when they got the sack, and that's just, a decision we have to make. Do we call it now? Do we wait and see what happens with the next play? Because obviously you don't want to give Glassboro any breaks if Maurice Robinson or Isaiah Graves rips off a big run, you stop the clock for him.
Well, we have a third down now, and looks to be about 20 yards to go. The ball is at the 23-yard line of Glassboro. First down at about the 42.5. So, again, if you're Herb Nealio, what you're saying is, look, let's keep the ball on the ground here, I would think, and let's make sure that we hold on to the football.
Yeah, he's got to be telling right now, Marquis Robinson and the other ball carriers, Isaiah Graves, do not put the ball on the ground. Rather you fall, get down, make them use their other timeout. We go into overtime. We don't give them the opportunity for the mistake.
Fowler under center, hands off to Marquis Robinson. Robinson still on his feet, breaking into the secondary, finally cut down. And he picks up about 10 yards, but that'll bring up a fourth down and 10. And the timeout is called once again by Gloucester now with 1:06 left. And Glassboro is forced to punt. Don't forget that
two snaps and you got it.
I tell you what, the punting today for both of these teams has been a circus.
And you know, Glassboro's just going to have to just get this off. Now, if you're Gloucester, you send all 10. Yeah. And that's exactly what I would do. I would send all 10.
Why not 11?
You got Ian James back there.
Well, that's true.
He's as dangerous could get, and I'd give him the chance to, if he does grab onto something, make a couple of moves, give you some extra yards.
And we talk about special teams. You know, we mentioned how important it is. Obviously, the score is 6-6. Their field goal kicking is not necessarily the strong point of either one of these teams. So, should Glassboro get this away, Gloucester's almost forced to score a touchdown here.
And they'll be looking to James. Keith O'Donnell will be trying to put it up in the air. And again, not a passing team, although they have connected for 9 touchdowns this year, O'Donnell and James. This is a team who predominantly runs the football. Coming into the game, O'Donnell had attempted 54 passes, 32 completions.
Fourth down here. Cunningham, the freshman, back to punt. They will have 11 guys up. Cunningham quickly gets it away. Cunningham able to get it away. The ball will bounce, and Glassboro will be wise to just not touch this football until they finally blow the whistle. And it's Weiss, the freshman, who does. So the ball down at the 36-yard line of Gloucester with 55 seconds remaining. You've got to credit the freshman there, Cunningham, able to get that away and get a good punt off.
Yeah, he's able to get it away, and that's all you wanted him to do. You didn't need anything special. Just get it out of there, back Gloucester up. Let's try and get it to overtime and take our chances there.
Now the good news for for Glassboro is they won't have to punt the football the rest of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, even if we go overtime, there will be no punting here. First down and 10 for the Lions at their own 36-yard line. High formation, O'Donnell back to pass, throws it out, finds James. And he'll quickly rush out of bounds at the 48-yard line, and that'll be enough for a first down.
James he runs his routes precisely where it needs to be, and O'Donnell does a nice job delivering the football to him. And you almost look at it, you think this team, they could pass with O'Donnell and James. They just have not really needed to do so this year.
See if they decide to go double team. And Robinson has checked back into the game. Maurice Robinson, who really cost his team, and that's why they're in this field position right now. O'Donnell back to pass, getting a rush, finds some escapability there, now being forced out. He'll try to find his way out of bounds. He does. So the plus side of things for Gloucester is that O'Donnell at least got himself out of bounds despite losing about 5.
A nice job by Graves coming off the corner. That's Philip Graves, the junior, 5'6", 145, just containing as a cornerback and not allowing O'Donnell to escape out of that out of the pocket.
Second down, 15. 40 seconds left in this football game, or at least in regulation. High formation. They've in motion, no call. Back to pass, O'Donnell throws it up, has a man, floats it up in the air, and unable to come up with it is Ian James. Well, I tell you what, third down now, Shawn, 33 seconds left. And one thing that we talked about is that the punting has been a circus for both teams. If Gloucester's unable to come up with the first down here, they'll be forced to punt it away.
Yeah, and I think they're a little bit more comfortable than Glassboro is. Obviously, with their punting game, they've really struggled with a couple of snaps here today. But they're now with 33 seconds left, with Wilkie and James split out. It is something that's got to set in your mind. Do we just run the football and go to OT?
Handoff inside. It's Garcia. Garcia still on his feet, chopped down, and we'll see if Glassboro calls a timeout here. Clock is still ticking, and 4th down. And it looks like both coaches are going to be content to allow this game to go into overtime.
Well, Neilio's got to be thinking, all right, we put ourselves in this position. OT, we got a chance to get into the playoffs, beat Gloucester, and tie for the division title. I'm sure this is a scenario that he was just wishing and praying for coming into this game.
Are you surprised that Neilio doesn't call timeout there?
No, not at all. Not at all. You give your team a position to win a football game in overtime. And they've played pretty evenly. Both teams have played pretty well against each other and have matched up well.
Well, we'll come back with overtime. We'll explain exactly how overtime works in high school for you. We've had a couple overtime games in the last few weeks for you here on Channel 43. And again, we'll have an exciting finish right after this. Welcome back here to Gloucester High School, and we had a little discussion off the air between myself and Sean. Rob Christ here along with Shawn Leary, also our director Stanley Ritter chiming in. And you know, I don't like high school or college overtime. I just think it's grossly unfair to the team that has to go first, whereas in the pro ranks, you know, if you have a defensive stand, then you're rewarded for it. Here, the team that goes second has such a huge advantage.
Well, explain it for us how the overtime works for people who might not know. Then I'll explain it to you.
Well, again, each team gets the football down in the defensive end. The ball is spotted, and essentially you have 4 downs to score. In high school, you see a little bit more where each team will use all 4 downs to go for the touchdown because your special teams play typically isn't as good. But if you do have good special teams, a good field goal kicker, then the advantage becomes even that much bigger if you're the second team. And after one series, then the opposing team gets their series.
Yeah, and I like that. I personally like the format. I think it's exciting. There's a lot of strategy that goes involved, and there's a lot of different things that coaches have to be thinking about. And your problem is the team that goes first really has a disadvantage because they have to decide whether they want to kick a field goal, want to go for the touchdown, and the other team really gets to see what that team does.
If they would flip-flop it after each series, then I think I would like it a little bit better. Obviously, Glassboro's won the coin toss, and Gloucester will go on offense first. Quick handoff inside to Garcia. So again, now, you know, if you're Herb Neilio, you have to feel good about things. You have the advantage here, a huge advantage.
Well, you don't have a huge advantage if they get into the end zone. But you're right. If you're Glassboro, you win that coin toss.
But again, here's the thing. If, let's say, Gloucester misses the extra point, right? I mean, again, then it allows you to do, you know, things as well in terms of how you can approach it. You know, whether you want to go for 2, go for 1, etc. O'Donnell throws it up, picked off and dropped. Picked off and dropped by Marquis Robinson. So 3rd down.
Hey, Marquis Robinson, what kind of game has he had? You know, he's really put up some nice numbers offensively, but there's been plays that he's made, doesn't actually pull it in. He was thrown a little bit behind him. The 4 fumbles that Glassboro was able to recover, 3 of them. So Marquis Robinson really having a day, and then he didn't even start because of disciplinary reasons in the first quarter.
3rd down now, I formation. O'Donnell back to pass, looks across the middle, picked off! Picked off by Isaiah Graves. And a penalty flag is on the field. We'll see who this flag is against. Now again, let's talk about this. If this pickoff, we'll take a look and see who the penalty flag is against, and then we'll pick up the point here. A legal procedure will be declined. Now again, here it's an interception. In total scheme of things, okay, it's a big play, but it doesn't mean a whole lot. If you do this NFL style, that's a huge interception.
Yeah, it's also a pretty big interception here because it gives Glassboro now the opportunity to go 25 yards and score.
Well,
there is different strategies and different advantages to one or the other. You're right. In a situation where they're backed up and that's an interception there, Glassboro has the advantage. You know, they can punch it in and score. But, you know, I think there's a lot of strategy, and you find out which coach might match wits with the other one and who has the advantage there. I think we got two really good ones going with Leon Harris and Herb Nealio.
Fowler takes the handoff to Robinson. It's Isaiah Graves into the secondary. Isaiah Graves brought down after a pickup of about 6.
Well, everything aside, this is what Glassboro is playing for right now. They sit at 10 in the power rankings. Obviously, a loss with 8 teams getting into the Group 1 playoffs, they would not have a chance. Let's take a look at that play. This is the one that scored the touchdown. The fake to Robinson, and then you go straight up with Isaiah Graves. That was the play that they scored their touchdown.
You saw that surge off the ball. I mean, that line of Glassboro doing a great job. Handoff inside, it's Robinson. Robinson still on his feet and finally brought down after a pickup of 1 or 2 yards.
And that's
so
a tough 1 or 2 yards that he was able to pick up. He could have been stopped for a loss. They're trying to umpile everybody, but getting back to Glassboro, they're at 10 in the power rankings. They need to get above 8. A win would certainly do it and clinch a spot for them. Not only clinch a spot for them, but they probably wouldn't have to play Paulsboro in the first round. Paulsboro being the #1 seed. They would probably go to around 5, as high as 5, and maybe even 6, depending on what happens today.
3rd down, about 3 yards to go. Robinson and Graves in the backfield. Fowler takes the handoff, back to pass, getting flushed out of the pocket. Fowler throws it up into the end zone, has a man, and it's incomplete. Sean Baxter wide open and unable to come up with it.
Looked like one of the Gloucester defenders slipped on the play, and Fowler, noticing that, throws it up, giving his man Baxter a chance to go for the football under a heavy rush. Now 4th and 3. And this is where the field goal kicker, Rob, if you could find somebody that can kick the football for you, it's such an advantage in these types of situations. Glassboro doesn't have that type of kicker. They did last year, who was their superstar in Terrence Holmes. But of course, he has graduated since, and they haven't found anybody to replace him.
Well, I'll tell you what. We've had a great game here. Fowler, if he's able to get a little bit more on that football, then right now Glassboro is celebrating. A big 4th down here, and you know that's a smart play right here by Herb Nealio. You may not have another opportunity like this. So if you're Herb Nealio, you say, let's make sure we get this right. That's smart coaching.
And you're right, Rob. You got to give credit to the Gloucester defense as well as the play by Fowler just to get that off and give them an opportunity. Is that rush, the call by Nealio to send them, get them all in there going after Fowler. You know it's going to be a possible passing situation where you run blitz and try to stuff Graves or Marquis Robinson.
I'll tell you what,
flush him out of the pocket. Nice play by the unit of Glassboro.
This has been one of the best games we have ever done, in my estimation. I mean, this has been a fantastic game, and it's only fitting that it ends in overtime. 4th down. 3 yards to go. Bulldogs. Fowler trying to set up his offense. 2 setbacks. Handoff inside. Robinson still on his feet, and Robinson will get enough for the 1st down. Big carry there by Marquis Robinson.
Little scoot off tackle for the big fella. He finds a little seam, gets in there, picks up the 1st down, and powers his way for a couple of extra yardage. So right now the Glassboro offensive line doing a nice job, and I'll tell you what, I would continue to run the football. This Glassboro line has really done well in the second half in the trenches. I would give it to them.
Handoff Graves. Graves trying to find his way between the tackles and nothing doing there. I'll tell you what, you talk about this Glassboro line. How about the effort by Michael Weiss? I mean, he came out of this football game in absolute agony. Comes back, it's like the $6 million man. They rebuilt him and made him better.
Yeah, that's guts. That's just, it's all heart right now because that pain doesn't go away. As you can see, he's limping to the line. That's character right there by a center who doesn't get much recognition. We'll give it to him right now. Number 54, all heart right now.
2nd down, about 11. Fowler High formation, hands off to Graves. Graves hit immediately. Maybe pickup of one, but again, King with a big hit.
King and Whitman, two guys, don't get a lot of notoriety on this Gloucester team. Big time defensive plays, a little bit undersized, both of them guys, but they play as good a linebacking position as you're going to see in the Tri-County Conference. Now 3rd and 10. This is where the Glassboro might need to go to the air.
We've got Buchanan split right, and split left is Shawn Baxter. Fowler back to pass. Has Graves as he wants it, hits across the middle, has a man just short of the goal line. A nice little catch by Shawn Baxter, and credit Fowler with the pass.
Going back to the bread and butter. It worked for him early in the first half. Just throwing across the middle to Baxter. Baxter doing a nice job of making sure he just catches the football. Nothing spectacular, doesn't try to make the reach around catch and then throw himself into the end zone. Make sure he gets a hold of it. First down, Glassboro, 2 yards away from getting into the Group 1 playoffs.
Fowler underneath center, hands off. It's Graves. Graves tries to cut it outside. Not a wise decision, and he's dropped for about a 5-yard loss.
Horrible decision. Horrible. He's not been able to run outside all game long. You still want to give yourself an opportunity. You have 4 downs. You don't want to go outside. Now you lose 3 yards. You're at the 5-yard line. So now even if you wanted to try to power inside with Marquis Robinson for a couple, you're not going to be able to do it. Or you might be able to do it, but you might not be able to get the 5 yards needed. You might be able to pick up 2 or 3.
Split wide left is Greg Buchanan. Fowler fakes the handoff, and he's hit from behind. Another huge play here by Gloucester's defense. Justin Whitman with a huge sack. And all of a sudden, it looked like Glassboro is going to win this game, and they're going in the wrong direction.
Whitman was a guy who they said would not play football again. The doctors told him last year from a terrible back injury. He could have made just the play of the game for Gloucester if they go on to win this thing. A huge sack now brings up 3rd and 15, and Glassboro going the opposite direction.
They're going to have to hurry to get this play off. A lot of confusion in that Glassboro huddle. Things are starting to break down here for the Bulldogs. Gets it off. Fowler back to pass. Throws it out. Has a man. It's Robinson. And Robinson is stopped. Robinson looked like he had a lot of room, but all of a sudden, closing speed illustrated there by Jonathan King.
Jonathan King and John Davidson. John Davidson missed the first 5 games with a knee surgery. His return has really solidified this Gloucester defense.
It's 4th down and goal now at the 15, and Shawn, they're going to have to throw the football, I would think. And if they do, they're going to have to throw it to the end zone.
And I would throw it again over the middle. That play has worked for you.
Split right. It's Shawn Baxter. He'll be working against Ian James. We'll see if they throw a fade pattern. And a timeout is called. No, it's a penalty flag. And it's a delay of game against the Bulldogs.
They look for here for the freshman, number 9, George Johnson. This is a jump ball situation for Glassboro. Unless you get that crisp, sharp pass over the middle, they might want to try to hit the fade. George Johnson at 6'3" might be able to outlead somebody in the Gloucester secondary.
And if you're Gloucester, the only thing you want to avoid here is a penalty. Obviously, you want to defend in the secondary, but you want to avoid a penalty, particularly one that would create a first down. 4th and goal. Fowler back to pass. Has time, throws it up in the air, looking for Baxter, and nothing doing. And Gloucester gets to live again.
What a game. What a stand by Gloucester. We've seen some tremendous goal line stands in the last few weeks here on Channel 43. This is another one.
Yeah, we did that overtime game a couple of weeks ago from Kingsway where they had to go from about the 3-yard line, 4 straight downs, and I think the last 3 were from the 1. Delsey able to hold Kingsway, and now you have Gloucester who facing a first down and goal,
2.
and they actually forced them to go in the other direction.
That is why, and what set it up was this outside run.
Absolutely.
That's why I love A to B, shortest distance.
You're absolutely right. That's
And
a
you
great
know what?
point.
And sometimes it doesn't work. And I've seen it in the last couple of weeks that the quarterback sneak has not worked. I'll take my chances with a quarterback sneak every single time, or even a simple handoff to the fullback where it's just quick hitters, bang up the middle. The worst you're going to do is lose a yard, maybe not pick up anything.
Particularly on first down.
Yeah, I don't like the calls down near the end zone except for just power football.
Well, I think in defense of Herb Neely, I think that play was set up to go between the tackles. Graves tried to cut it outside. Let's step away here quickly as we're in overtime. Gloucester and Glassboro are tied at 6. Welcome back to Gloucester High School. We are in overtime. This is I guess, considered this second overtime. We're tied at 6. Now, in the college ranks, if you win the coin toss, you continue to go first or you continue to go second. In high school, which
they alternate.
I did not realize they alternate. Now, that makes me like this a little bit more.
Okay, well, there's
it's
room.
Growing on me.
There's room on our bandwagon, the overtime bandwagon.
Still don't like the college overtime. First down carry by Marquis Robinson, picked up some positive yards, and here's Robinson again. You know, this may, if Glassboro scores here, this may come down to who can make the extra point.
It might. It certainly might. You know, but I got to see one of these teams get into the end zone.
Well, you're right.
Because only one time did either team, both teams, get into the end zone. Gloucester scoring late in the second quarter on a pass to Ian James. And then Glassboro getting on the board on an Isaiah Graves touchdown. That's our game tied here, 6-6.
First and 10 at the 14-yard line. Fumble inside, and Gloucester looks like they've come away with it. It is Gloucester. Fowler had some trouble handing that football off, and the Lions come away. Wow.
Looks like there's some trouble. It looked like they were going to maybe roll out or do something with Fowler, the fake handoff there. And it looks like he just lost control of the football.
It may have rubbed up against his lineman, I'm not sure, but wow, what a disaster for the Bulldogs. And here comes Gloucester. First down and 10 from the 25-yard line. O'Donnell with 2 setbacks. Hands off to Londino. Londino is cut down after a pickup of about 3.
And at one point, too, this has been a pretty, except for the fumbles, been a very clean played game. Not many penalties. We haven't seen many penalties, and I don't expect to see any here. Although I might have, it looks like there might be a little bit of holding going out there. But they're not going to call it now.
The first half was just a disaster for Glassboro. So many fumbles, interceptions, bad punt, snap. We've had a little bit of everything, but second half they pick things up. Here's Garcia. He'll pick up maybe 1 or 2, and third down here again, it's going to be 4-down territory. This just has the feel of not just a playoff game, but like something analogous to a championship playoff game. There's so much on the line for both of these teams. Obviously, a little bit more so for Glassboro, but Gloucester wants nothing more than to be undefeated.
Undefeated, get that division crown, and knock their rival straight out of the playoff.
O'Donnell back to pass, throws it up, has James, throws it up, James, touchdown! Ian James with the touchdown pass from O'Donnell. And Gloucester has won this game in double overtime, 12-6. Great pass from O'Donnell, and James, the hero all afternoon. Winston's here for the Lions.
Ian James, all he does is catch touchdowns. Unbelievable. Donald putting the ball exactly where he wanted to put it, over the shoulder. Nice pass by the senior, and James right there in the corner of the end zone. Touchdown. The Lions, undefeated, will go into the playoffs, the number 2 seed. Glassboro, for the first time in 7 years, does not make the playoffs, but what an effort by the Bulldogs today, with a lot of underclassmen who get some valuable experience in a big-time game.
I'll tell you what, I give Marquis Robinson a lot of credit. He played his heart out today. He went over there right away and shook the hands of the Gloucester Lions as he realized he had himself quite a battle today against his Gloucester team. And you got to credit Leon Harris and this Gloucester City High School football team. As there you see the losing coach Herb Nealio. What a battle! This will be, you know, this is instant classic.
We're gonna have to run this next Friday. This is an instant classic for sure. A tremendous game. And like you said, you can't get any better than a defensive battle between two teams, two conference foes going at each other. It makes that much more important. When you score, it is so much more important.
This is one of those games, if you're a Gloucester City booster, you don't want to leave. You just want to stay here and just kind of take it in. That's how big of a win it was. Of course, Gloucester High School now improves to 8-0. Leon Harris now with his 122nd victory against 39 losses and 2 ties, but more importantly, Gloucester clinching the title and also will head to the playoffs as the 2nd seed.
Yeah, and they're going to be a tough out. Looking down the line, if there's a Paulsboro-Gloucester matchup, that's going to be a fun game to watch.
And who knows, we may have that for you here on Channel 43. Once again, your final score in double overtime. Gloucester defeats Glassboro by the score of 12-6. For my partner, Shawn Leary, my director, Stan Ritter, I'm Rob Christ. Thanks for joining us. Once again, your final here from Gloucester High School. Gloucester defeats Glassboro 12-6.